Hey, what's going on, AJ? Hey, Brian. Hey, Brian. How you doing? I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. Happy to be doing this on a beautiful, rainy, overcast Monday. Just the kind of days that I like. Oh yeah, Brian. Oh yeah, yeah. This is gonna be a terrible show. You know why? Because I'm not here. Oh well, then let's take care of that as soon as possible. Let's get this show on the road so we can all see how bad it's gonna be. Fucking buckle up, everyone. This is PSVR GameScast Live, where we film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and 2 West Friday right here on YouTube. We do it live 6 p.m. Eastern for your viewing pleasure. Sirens on my end on cue. Thank you, City of Worcester. You never disappoint. My name is Bryan Popnishon right here without Parole, and this gentleman over here to my left. You are right. It's AJ from the Underground. PSVR Underground. Hey Brian. Hey Brian. What's going on? This is me, AJ from the Underground. Oh no, I've officially lost it. But we're here to make your Monday suck just a little bit less. Oh yeah, yeah, like way less. Wow. Well, I'm excited. Me too, Brian. We can't we can't do this the whole time. This would be absolutely ridiculous to keep these up. So let's. Whoop, that's not the button I was looking for. How about this one? Will this one do it? There we go. What's up, you guys? AJ's not here, but this is the best facsimile I had, and that was my best AJ impression. Hopefully I fooled some of you. As I'm sure you guys know, this has been all over Twitter, all over everywhere. OpenAI or whatever, ChatGPT, whatever the fuck AI system it is, has now been trained on Studio Ghibli or however the hell you pronounce it. And so our good friend Izzard had came up with some prompts and had AJ and I made into Studio Ghibli characters. Yeah, Corey, AJ looks like a total stoner. That was the first thing I thought too. But it's actually endearing, and I honestly think that. They killed it with me, except I feel like I should have shaved, or I shouldn't have shaved today, and I shouldn't have done like anything with my hair, because like it's like, I don't know, it's pretty accurate, man. I like it. I like it a lot. But yeah, I do agree. It's a crime. D. So leading up to today's show, it was only a few hours ago where AJ told me that he wasn't going to be able to make it. Because of work, and we totally understand that. Real life always comes first. And I was like, well, you know what? I haven't done one of these on my own in a very long time. It's been an extremely long time. In fact, I would have guessed about 5 years, but my good buddy and moderator Rypop told me, sorry, I get tornado here by my feet, threatening to tear this entire thing down. What are you doing, bud? Apparently I did this 2 years ago. I don't remember doing it 2 years ago. So hopefully this isn't a complete and total train wreck, but we're super happy that you're here, you guys. And thanks for hanging out. So let's see, a lot of things to talk about, I guess. First and foremost, you guys have been super fucking supportive. Obviously the last few weeks I've been kind of a train wreck, and I didn't know what was wrong mentally, all sorts of things. I just want to get this out of the way because I just want you guys to know. I want you guys to be some of the first people to know that over the course of the weekend, I felt the fog lifting, and I sort of started figuring out what was wrong with me, and now I'm working towards just making sure that I'm better, and that things are going to continue to be better. So I feel good. I actually feel pretty great, to be honest with you, and I really thought that like my. I thought that getting better was going to be a weeks-long process, not like a couple days over the weekend process. So it's good. It's wonderful. And yeah, Bitmappy, I would absolutely have Tornado as my co-host if she would just pick a place to be. Right now, it's on my left foot. Mr. Twisted Black Gamecat wants me to play both roles. I don't know if I could do both roles for the entire thing. It was pretty stressful just to even just getting the show started. So, yes, better cocaine. That's what it is. Oh, she's meowing. Come on, come hang out. Come on, come hang out. Come on, come on. We're gonna make some room for you. Come on. Hold on. This is gonna be a super laid back show, obviously. Come on. Come on. Whoa, that's a big leap. Here she is. Oh, god damn it. Here, maybe I can get her to. You guys better just. Oh, that's not it. And that's also not it either. That's hilarious, though. Oh. We're in trouble, you guys. Anyway, Tornado is here with me. And that's great. So she'll keep me company the whole time. See if I can't get rid of this logo. This is the whole show, guys. It's going to be an absolute mess. There we go. Logo's gone. Hey, want to say hi to everyone? All right. Well, guys, super important. Obviously, we're looking to get the ball rolling on the GoFundMe fundraiser for everybody. This isn't just me, obviously. In fact, most of this is for my co-hosts. I am desperately trying to raise some money in order to get everyone to PAX East. That we did this last year. It was a lot of fun, and everyone's on board to do it this year. But it's the financial requirements this year are going to be even more difficult because the hotel rooms are more expensive because it's in May instead of March. No one wants to be in Boston in March. So the hotel room's significantly more expensive, like 3 times more expensive. And of course, we're going to fly Wes and AJ and Miles up to Massachusetts in order for this to happen. Just like last year, though, we're going to make the most of it. We're going to make the most of like making content together. The 4 of us are never in the same place at the same time. And I really want to take a more advantage of filming stuff together while we're in, the same hotel or the same place. We were unsuccessful in getting a PAX panel room. I'm super bummed about that, but we might still be able to get a community room. I'm waiting to hear back about that. So we're going to hopefully have some news on that soon. However, if anybody came to PAX East last year, then you'll know that the hotel we were at was very accommodating. We basically took over the lobby every single night, and it was awesome. So if anybody is still planning on coming to PAX East, you can get the hotel information over on Discord. You can get any hotel you want to, and then just swing by and hang out with us. So I know some people are getting Airbnb, some people are getting hostels. So it's really whatever you want to do, but it's gonna be a good time, and I'm really excited. Yeah, Tatum, no panel room. It was really like I thought it was gonna be really fun. And I've seen some of the panel rooms that they've announced already, and I'm like, man, we absolutely could have pulled a bigger crowd than some of those. I went to a few panels last year that were, I don't know, there were probably like 15 people in the room total. And I feel like that for all the cats that would actually end up showing up at PAX East and the people who were just interested in hearing us talk about VR, we really wanted to have a panel about the future of VR and like, is it dying? Is it on its last leg? And what does it need to succeed? I thought that was going to be a great panel. And unfortunately, PAX thought otherwise. They're very gracious in their rejection letters. They're like, it doesn't mean we're not interested. There's just only so much space. So I'm like, all right, I get it. You do what you got to do. All right. We do tips during this show. We got Looper, the Underground Gamecat with the €5 says, playing Animal Well as it's leaving PlayStation Plus, and it feels like such a Bryan type of game. It is. Animal Well is so a Bryan Paul game. I've played the first, I don't know, hour, 2 hours. I don't know. It's on the difficult side. I really love pixel art games, though. I really love games that feel like they belong in the 8-bit or 16-bit era. And so, yeah, 100%. Looper, you nailed it. And plus, I love what Animal Well does with the haptics in the Sense controller, right? So I don't know if it was like when you hit the jump button or like when your little character lands on the ground, but you get a little thunk in the controller with every jump. It just makes jumping fun. Yeah. Steamboat Willie, the spaghetti game cat says, wait, on one-on-one show with Bryan. Turn off the lights. Yeah, it's gonna get real sexy in here, real soon. Oh, I think Tornado just saw herself in the camera because she seems hypnotized by herself, right? What's up, buddy? Huh? What's up? What's up? Yeah. Hope she hangs out with me the whole time. She has but better things to be doing. Her schedule, her agenda is packed. And she's off. That's right. 6:12. Lay on the floor and lick your left paw. Yep. All right. So what happened on Friday? Does anybody watch? Interactive Chat? I don't know. I don't know if I've watched it in the last couple of years. I don't know how AJ does this by himself. Does he have an animated or drawing of me sitting across from him? I don't think that's probably how it goes. Alessandro in the chat says, anyone else notice that Hitman crashes when you load a saved game? I'm stuck. I can't go further in a mission from the villa in California. It just crashes when loading. It's so sad. The game is great. Is anyone else having this problem? I wasn't going to talk about Hitman today, but you know what? Let's talk about Hitman today. I can't tell you if loading a saved game causes any crashes for me because Hitman's a great game, right? No question about it. I don't think anyone disagrees. It's kind of like massive, like open areas, the freedom to take down targets however you want to. The VRAF elements are interesting, right? They're there, a little bit janky, but I think everybody's fairly happy with the game overall, despite a little bit of jank. I think everyone agrees that it's a must play. But it's also a game that I've already played. It's 3 games that I've already played on PSVR1. I already played through Hitman 1, 2, and 3. And honestly, like, as much as it's a great game, for me, it's not my style of game. You know what I mean? And so yeah. So I don't know if I can get away with not reviewing it on the channel. I might be able to. AJ's expressed some interest in doing that, so maybe he'll do it. Maybe I'll do it. But right now, I'm playing Wanderer for review, and Wanderer is incredible. I think Wanderer has far less jank than Hitman, and like, honestly, listen, I don't know. I don't know if the team would be happy with me. I don't know if they'd be happy with me saying this or not, because I guess I'm sort of stuck in the first impression embargo at this point, where it's only supposed to be up until, I think, you go to the moon, you come back, and maybe I'm not supposed to talk about more than what happens after you leap over to like the next area, the Mayan temple area. So I might be pushing this a little bit, but here's what I'll say. Wanderer is fucking incredible, and Wanderer is the game you should be thinking about. And Wanderer, if you didn't buy Hitman yet because you're like, oh, I'm really interested in Wanderer, that's the game. That's the correct answer. Wanderer is simultaneously a little bit janky and one of the most polished games I've ever played. Like, it really walks that line in such an interesting way because it just looks beautiful, right? Like, somehow they made these insanely detailed environments with great lighting, and just everything looks amazing. Incredible draw distances, and it's all running at 90 frames per second. It's all ridiculously high res. Like, there's no Mura to even talk about. Right? It's like I start up Hitman and people say, "Oh, the Mura is really bad." And I'm like, I mean, I get it. I can kind of like see what people are saying. But there's no reprojection in Wanderer. Everything's just like runs silky smooth, and the team is still working on it. Right? Like, we've talked a lot about the combat and how the combat is like not great, but man, there's some unexpected combat too. Like, enemies will show up like where they weren't before. Like, if you played it on PSVR1, there's some really great moments where there was no combat before. Now there's combat, and it's almost laughable, like how it feels right now, but I'm so happy that it's there because it just adds so much to the overall experience. And of course, you know, more than anything else, Wander is a puzzle game, and it's just maybe the best puzzle game ever made for VR. And honestly, I'm already getting to the point. This is where it gets kind of risky to talk beyond the embargo I've been given. But I'm honestly starting to feel like it might be the best VR game ever made. Period. So you should definitely be excited for Wanderer. I am going to be playing the crap out of it between now and release. I really want to get a review done because, man, I just can't stop playing it. It's been a long time since I felt this way about a game. It might have been since Ancient Dungeon that I felt this way about a game. I just don't want to stop playing. And it never feels. If you remember, like old point and click adventure games, there were moments where you would just get stuck. Especially like pre-internet days, you had to like go buy a hint book or something. You would just get stuck. It's like if you weren't able to solve this one particular puzzle, then you're done. You're just stuck. That does not seem to be how Wanderer works. Obviously they've blown everything out of the water. They've every single environment is bigger. There are more puzzles to solve. There are more items to find. There's more stuff to do. It's just a much bigger and better game on PSVR2 than it was on PSVR1, and it was already great on PSVR1. But at no point have I been like, I don't know how to solve this puzzle, and then just go, throw my hands up. What happens instead is that I go off and do something else. There always seems to be at least two paths I can be taking at any given point. There's always other stuff to do. And there's always, and you're also upgrading your watch, Samuel, in order to get more inventory spaces, in order to change, you can unlock new skins by finding objects, like these random objects that used to have no meaning, no use in the world. This was also on the PSVR1 version, by the way, so this isn't really new. But like it's cool to be able to pick up these objects that don't have any puzzle use, right? Anything to do with any puzzle solving. And you're taking all this stuff back and you're using that stuff to unlock more skins for Samuel. And it just feels like this great progression system. Your character's not getting stronger, but you're able to carry more items. And that is like one of the most important things that you need in Wanderer, the ability to carry more items. So I don't know. It's just insanely addictive. You never feel like you're stuck. And everything that you see is beautiful. So that's all I got to say about Wanderer, you guys. Not sure Brondo with the $5 tip says, "Hey y'all, we'll catch up later." Cool. Brondo's coming to PAX East. Brondo's coming to the Gamecat meetup. Hey, what's up, Miles? I see Miles in the chat says he can't join. He's still working. Totally fine, man. Totally fine. Listen, this is it's a little nerve-wracking to do a show by myself. But it's the kind of thing I sort of had to get over. You know what I mean? I've been meaning to be able to do these for a while, and not having somebody else to bounce things off of is really difficult. I can say what I want to say, and then AJ picks up the slack, and then boom, 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 pass it back and forth, and everything's great. But yeah, I'm basically just, you guys are my co-host today. I'm reading through your comments as we're doing this. So hopefully you're all doing well. We also got Simply Mincy with the $2 tip says, "Okay, just tuned in. How high am I? Anime AJ." Simply Mincy, make sure you go back to the beginning of the stream and see Anime Bryan Paul as well. This is, it was good. I think it was going to be way more fun to do this. I had this all set up last night before I knew that AJ wasn't going to be here. And I wasn't even going to tell AJ that we were going to do this. We were just going to like start the show. And, I would just have this stuff on the screen and not even tell him. And we're going to do that for a little bit. I thought it was going to be really funny. And then I already had it all set up, and I kind of don't want to, and I kind of didn't want to break it all down. Snafu with the $5 tip says, "Wait, so was I not supposed to fight the Allied forces in Germany when I played on PSVR1? Yeah, it all depends on what you think the proper future was." He said, "For real, how jumping on the moon? Meow." Jumping on the moon is great. And the moon's so much bigger. The moon is so much bigger. Listen, it's not like, there are certain points where you walk too far in a certain direction, and the screen goes and it goes all white, and it kind of like resets you. It's like, okay, you've exceeded the bounds of the game. This is not part of the level. But man, it is just so much bigger. The moon wasn't that big. This is a weird thing to say, at least out of context. The moon wasn't that big on PSVR 1. Like, there wasn't that much to explore, and it's just so. I mean, easily 5 times bigger on PSVR 2. And is there a lot going on? There's some extra stuff to find, and there's some extra upgrades for Samuel, the little crystals that you're looking for. But man, yeah, so good. So good. And jumping on the moon feels great. There's sort of a weird, it reminds me of Mario 64 a little bit. If you hit the jump button as you're landing at just the right time, then you jump again and it's ever so slightly higher. And I think you can do that a third time and it's ever so slightly higher, and I can never nail the 4th or 5th jump. But it does. It feels good to like float, to like you hit jump and you're ooh. But I will say having full body IK in Wander is a little bit weird. People talk about this all the time. You know what? I'm gonna who said it in the chat? They said there's more opportunities for a poll without AJ here. I guess that's true. You guys are my co-hosts. So here's what we're gonna do. Where's my keyboard? Okay. What's best? Just hands in VR? Hands and I don't know, arms, forearms. Let's go arms/forearms. And then we'll do full body. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm going to write, what do you prefer? What do you prefer? All right, here we go. Let's start the poll. And I asked this because, obviously everybody has their preferences. But sometimes it's done really well, right? I think the example we always went back to on PSVR 1 was Firewall 0 Hour, where it's like you had the aim controller and you had full body IK, but for the longest time when somebody was like, oh yeah, I love that you have full body IK in Firewall, I couldn't even picture it. I was like, do you really? Because it just didn't get in the way. Like, it just worked really, really well. Wanderer is a little different, right? Because on PSVR 1, you just had hands. And that was fine. Get the job done. And now you have like arms, you have full body. You always see your reflection. It's very Quantum Leap-like, like when you're jumping into different people. And there's a little something. There's like, so when it works really well, it works really well, right? You're running around, you're jumping, you're platforming, you're climbing, and you look down and like you see your body and it's doing the right thing. But sometimes your feet are in the floor. It's like, well, that's not great. That's when it gets a little bit less immersive. But again, sort of like the combat, I'm glad it's there for so that when it works really well. And I also think there's so much more platforming. Actually, there wasn't really any platforming at all in the original, right? Because you couldn't even jump. You couldn't climb, you couldn't swing, couldn't zip line. This is and so I think it's kind of important for it to be there in this version of the game. But yeah, I kind of agree with you, Jonathan. Jonathan in the chat says, I feel a full body looks fake, like it's obviously a character model. While hands, arms, I can pretend I'm the character. Yeah, right. It looks, if I look down in VR, for the most part, usually when I see full body, I think that's not me. That's just hanging from my neck, right? And it's not doing the thing that I'm doing in real life. If I'm moving my arms and hands and opening and closing my fingers, well, that's all one-to-one with what I'm doing IRL. But when I'm walking around in VR, I'm usually just using an analog stick. And it's like, my legs aren't moving. I'm looking down and I'm seeing like a facsimile of a body. So I it's tough. It's tough. I think we're still at a place in VR where no matter what you do, every option has its pluses and minuses. If you look down and you don't see a body at all, well, that's not immersive either. Like, you look down, like, where's my body? That's not great. So anyway, I think we'll still I think we've still got a ways to go as far as VR is concerned. However, again, I am just I'm impressed with Wanderer. That was the point of all this. I'm impressed with Wanderer. It's for everything that it doesn't do perfectly, I still look at it and go, I'm just glad that's there. It doesn't do the full body IK perfectly. I'm just glad it's there. If it doesn't do combat perfectly, I'm still glad it's there, right? Because all it's doing is taking one of the greatest games on PSVR1 and making it bigger, making it better, and making it more interesting to some degree. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. That's what I'm going to be doing for the next couple days. I'm just going to be spending a lot of time with Wanderer. Sun WTF with the $5 tip says solo hosting means more polls for the chat. Oh, that's where I saw it. I saw it as a tip. Thanks. That's good to know. All right. You know, this poll is interesting, but it's not nearly as interesting as the poll we have going on in Discord right now. Guys, make sure you come join our Discord. Click the link in the description below. We've got a great Discord. We've got a lot of great people over there. And we had and every day there's a poll. And the poll today is whether you use toilet paper or a bidet. And shockingly, I think it's 33% bidet, 67% toilet paper. I think that's where it was the last time we checked. This is important stuff we need to know. All right. I did kind of come up with a run of show. Shockingly. I'm pretty sure on Friday, I know we talked about Firmament recently. I think it was on Friday's show. If you guys weren't paying attention, or if you weren't here on Friday's show, Cyan Worlds said that they were going into certification for Firmament today. Is it the 30th or the 31st? Either way, it's happening. They're in certification right now. And they said that they were fairly confident they were going to be able to get the game out in April, which I don't know, man. You know, like Firmament's kind of looks like it's a visually intense game. I think it's going to be, you know, graphically intense. It's going to push the PS5 a little bit. Also, more importantly, it's going to push the PS4 a little bit. They said their big concerns with getting it through cert was the PSVR2 version and the PS4 version. Right. And so they're trying to get this amazing looking game up and running, having it run nice and smooth on PS4. And then again on PSVR2, PS5. So we'll see. We'll see. Cyan doesn't have, as far as I know, like a ton of experience with PlayStation, with getting through cert. They obviously did Abduction on PSVR1. And that ran really horribly on PSVR and PS4. But who knows, man? It's been years. It's been years. So we'll see how that goes. The reason I bring this up, because if we talked about it on Friday, then great. But if we didn't, then now you know. We should be getting a release date for Firmament soon. We got the good news of this game coming out very soon came on the heels of this news. So it says, a message from Cyan. Today we would like to share with you some very unfortunate news. Despite our best efforts to avoid it, Cyan has made the difficult decision to reduce our overall staff size, resulting in the layoff of 12 talented staff members, roughly half of the team, effective at the end of March. So we're here. It's happening. These people are being laid off right now. Industry conditions have forced us into a tricky spot where we're having to weigh the future health of our studio against the month-to-month realities of game development in 2025. Throughout the past year, we've been ultra transparent with the entire Cyan team about the choppy waters we find ourselves in, as well as the dangers ahead. With the news of layoff, it was not a surprise to the team. Blah 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 blah. Okay, listen, another sad JPEG posted to socials. I mean, it's not great news. It's not great news, and I think at some point I'd sort of point it to Cyan as a team that like is just doing things right. Right? Cyan seemed to be a team that has been around since the mid '90s at least. They'd released Myst as an early CD-ROM adventure game, multimedia game, followed with Ribbon, and just somehow managed to like sort of stay in their lane and create these very specific type of adventure puzzle games over the last, 30 years. More sirens on my end. People have told me in the chat and in the comments that they don't always hear the sirens. I definitely say it for people who are driving. And just in case you can hear the sirens, the last thing I want them to do is think they're being pulled over or think that there's like an ambulance behind them. That's why I say it. But I kind of pointed to Cyan as a team that was doing everything right and sort of had figured out how to manage their team through the years. It never expanded to the point where it didn't make sense. Right? We're talking about a team that I think was 30 until just now. So that down to about 15, 24, down to 12, whatever it is. And so it's not like they wanted to be the next EA or ever tried to be the next EA. And we're like, we're good. We're just going to get bigger and bigger. And we're going to start publishing games and we're going to, have multiple games in development. No, they just kind of took it slow and they like worked on one game at a time. And they still found themselves in this. Oh, Old Darth says I'm not wearing pants. I'm wearing shorts. More sirens on my end. There are shorts down here, so you can see. But I'm not wearing underwear. So if the shorts slide down, we're all in big trouble. So anyway, it just makes me sad to see that like this team that I thought had it all together isn't managing to maneuver what they're calling like the choppy waters of game development in 2025. And it's like, if they're not safe, right? If they're not safe, who's safe? I don't think anybody's safe. And I don't know what the issue is, right? Is the issue that there's too much competition now, right? Back when Myst came out, like 10 games came out a year. I mean, there were always a lot of games. There was always a bunch of games that came out. But you'd go to the store and you'd buy one and you'd come home with it. And then like you do that, like, I don't know, not more than once a month, not more than, 10 times a year at best. Like, I mean, that's if you had like disposable income. We didn't have that growing up. And so there were fewer people buying games, but there were also a lot fewer games. And now it's like, there's a lot more people buying games, but then there's also like a million times more games than there were when we were younger. And so the competition is just out of control. So I don't know. And I also think that because Cyan Worlds was so good at staying in their lane, right? Because they were like, this is what we do. These are the kind of games that we make. These are the adventures we like to create. That, I'm one of the biggest, or I was one of the biggest point and click adventure game fans in the world. And I kind of grew out of it, right? And I'm wondering how many people grew out of it with me, right? Because gaming evolved and more genres were forming by the second, and you started finding yourself playing different types of games than you did when you were younger. And so I just don't know. Like I think, whereas point and click adventures were kind of a dominant genre when I was 12, 13, 14, now they're more niche. Now there's way fewer people are playing those. I'm a little bit concerned about burn-in here. I know that the reason we started switching scenes prior was because people would get burn-in on their televisions and on their monitors, and so I didn't really prepare for this, obviously. Here, let me see if I can go to Big Bryan. Here he is. Hey, Big Bryan, how's it going? Can we do that? Yeah, there we go. All right. Okay. Here we go. We can switch back and forth just so I don't want to ruin people's televisions and stuff. The last thing they need is a GamesCast Live logo burnt into their screen or an image of Yaoi AJ burnt into their screen. Shout if anybody knows what Yaoi is. It's just gay anime porn. I don't know how many people needed to hear that. Hold on, we're almost there. Figuring this out. Here we go. Yep. All right, cool. Let's check in with you guys. So anyway, my sympathies to Cyan Worlds for not being able to keep everybody on. I'm sure everybody that's being let go is super talented. It's always really sad when you hear about this stuff. It just, I don't know. I'm concerned about the future of gaming. Right? When we can't have studios that seem this stable maintaining. So FNCS Kieran with the £5 says, "Hey Bryan, how's life? Love being able to talk to you on Discord. You're actually a sound guy." Thanks, man. Thanks, Kieran. Kieran and I were talking. He's doing he's got his own podcast going on over on his channel, and I'm going to guest on an upcoming episode. We're going to talk about some PSVR stuff. Thundercat with the level 2 membership says, "Turned up late. AJ still AJing the fuck out of it. I see. Kind of like him this way. Show feels kind of intimate. I'm glad you still turned up, dude." Yeah, thanks. I had offers. Other people had offered to come show up today, which was really nice. I didn't expect that to happen. I'd asked Wes and Miles. I said, "Hey, if you guys want to swap with AJ, then feel free, and we'll just do like a Wes day today and a AJ day Wednesday or whatever, But I'm trying to hey, leave my hairy leg alone. I'm comfortable. I'm trying to get comfortable, right? I'm trying to get relaxed here. Hey, just settle in. You guys chill. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I want to do on the channel. I want to, you guys know that I've done a lot of experimenting over the years. I've done Bryan Bites. I've done op-eds. I don't know if anybody remembers when I did op-eds. And honestly, so frequently when somebody can't do GAMESCAST, my instinct is to cancel. And I don't want to do that, right? I really want the rest of 2025 to be a little bit different than the beginning of 2025. I feel like the beginning of 2025 was low energy. We were all tired, and I was more than happy to just let entire weeks slide without doing much. And I don't want that to be the way the rest of 2025 goes. I'm excited to do more, and I'm excited for to try out different things. I've got a few different types of videos that I want to make. I want to get back to doing some things like op-eds, and I think that despite the fact I've been doing GAMESCAST in some degree or another, right? You can go all the way, go back on the channel to, almost 10 years ago when we were doing episodes of Why We Love. Des and I were doing episodes of Why We Love long before PSVR was a thing. We were talking about, we had entire episodes about the Wii, about Lucasfilm adventure games. We covered random consoles like the 3DO. We were doing gaming stuff long before PSVR came around. And so we were doing that. And then, of course, the Midnight GamesCast with Michelle and Jeremy, although originally Brett. It was, despite doing shows for that long, there's always other people to bounce off of. And to be able to do this on your own, I think, is a skill that I've never developed. I have no idea how to do this on my own, right? And so that's something that it's hey, you know what? It's time to step outside your comfort zone. It's time to do something a little bit different. And I want to be able to do this with you guys today. So thank you for hanging in there. And it's a different vibe for sure. And I'm sure people tuned in just to see AJ, and they're very disappointed. And now their week doesn't suck, just a little bit less. Now let's ride the game feline with the $5 tip. Says, "Cyan laying off half its staff gives me the Cyan blues." Oh, how very punny of you. That's great. Now it's Ryan, you're coming. That's right. You're coming to PAX this year, right? It's going to be so much fun. I was so nervous last year to do PAX. I was also 70 pounds heavier, and hadn't left my apartment in years. And so my social anxiety kicked in. This time I am so excited to get out of my apartment, to give myself an excuse to leave and come hang out with the cats. If anybody's going to be in Boston around the time of PAX, I think it's May 8th. Is that right? Make sure you come by and hang out. We've got even if you honestly, even if you're not going to PAX, right? Just make sure you link up with us. We'll be keeping everybody up to date on Discord, and like swing by the hotel, come hang out, shoot the shit. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna have fun. I gotta get glasses. I can't even read. Tennings. Is this the first? This might be the first tip I've read from Tennings, because I had to get close to the screen to make sure I read it properly. With the €5 says, I adore your channel. Please never stop. What PlayStation 2 game would you pick to get a PSVR2 port of? And why is it Largo Winch Empire Under Threat? I remember Largo Winch. Were there two of them? I thought the first one was just called Largo Winch, but maybe there was a subtitle. I don't remember. Man, PlayStation 2. Now this is my wheelhouse. Absolutely. You guys know I love retro games. I was fucking screaming at my monitor earlier during the Evercade showcase. Evercade was doing a showcase earlier, and they're finally adding SNK games to their library. You guys know I've got this nice little arcade unit over here, and I've got the Evercade, the handheld one. What the hell's it called? The EXP? And they give you like 3 different ways to play their cartridges. And now, dude, finally getting like Shock Troopers and Metal Slug and Windjammers. I mean, like, so excited. Not the question you asked, Tennings. But as soon as you start talking retro games, man, the juices start flowing. There's so many games on PS2 that I would want on PSVR2. PS2 is one of the greatest gaming generations ever, right? PlayStation 1 was like, hey, here's 3D. We're throwing 3D at you. It hasn't really been done well before. Here it is. And it's still like, still iffy. But then PlayStation 2 just made everything look amazing. And obviously, we weren't at the point yet where studios could only put out like a couple games a generation. Like most studios were putting out entire trilogies, quadrilogies, quintologies. That can't be the right word. On PlayStation 2. And it was just one of the best times, I think, to be a gamer. And that's why like I'd kill to have like all 3 Fatal Frame games from that era in VR. Because I think fighting ghosts with a camera, that just seems so natural in VR. You take the sense controller, you go, a little adaptive trigger with the shutter. It'd be great. Man, what else? I mean, so many first party Sony things that seemed like it would make sense. Like Mark of Kree, Rise of the Kasai. Those were kind of stealthy games, really fun. Primal, Ghost Hunter, which we actually got on PS5, like an up-res version of it. So many great games. But obviously, number one and 2 would be Eco and Shadow of the Colossus, right? Because we got Behemoth, but it didn't scratch the Shadow of the Colossus vibe, like the itch that we all had for it, right? The Shadow of the Colossus gave you this big, massive. I can only imagine there's like 3 of you out there watching right now that haven't played Shadow of the Colossus. But for you 3, I'm going to explain it. It was an open world in Shadow of the Colossus, and you had a horse to get around on. But there was nothing in the open world, and it didn't matter. Like usually, open worlds suck if they're boring and lifeless. But this was like the world felt like a whole other character, and you'd hold your sword up, and then it would shine a light, like it would reflect the sun, and it would shine a light to your next destination, to the next behemoth that you had to go find, and you'd start figuring out how to maneuver the world. And I think there was like 16 behemoths to fight. Man. Okay, I don't even care if they were the PS2 graphics. Give me that in first-person VR. Done. Nice and easy. That's it. Yeah. Thanks, Tennings. Jason Ewing with the level 2 membership says, Bryan, we all appreciate you and your PSVR expertise you share. I don't know if it's expertise, but it's, I babble a lot. I can talk a lot about very unimportant things. Slayer, the Underground Gamecat with the 5 Canadian says, are you planning to do another top 25 games list? Yes. Soon, I think too. If I can rally the crew for a top 25 list, sometime over the next couple weeks, I would do it now. I would do it really, really soon. We wanted to wait for Hitman to come out. We wanted Wanderer to come out. That was kind of what we were waiting for. So the good thing. Also, wait a minute. Have we not done one since this? Was it December 1st? Shit. So like Subside hasn't even been discussed. I don't think Metro has been discussed. Alien, Rogue Incursion. Say the one, Behemoth. And then we got Hitman, and holy shit. The next top 25 debate is going to be insane. I just don't even know. I don't even know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. Like I'm already thinking about the top 10 in my list, in my head, and just being like, well, what the fuck, man? It's like Resident Evil Village and RE4 remake are just amazing games. Like, can those be dethroned? Can Gran Turismo 7 be dethroned by games like Wanderer? By games like Hitman, because it's like so much content and so replayable. I don't know. Mad Vegan says it's been a while. Sure has. It's been a while. But yeah, we'll be doing that as soon as we possibly can. And of course we've also got to do some fun GoFundMe fundraising streams for everybody in for the crew coming to PAX. It is way harder to run the show and host it by myself at the same time. Alex, just wanted to make sure I hadn't been saying your name wrong for years, Alex. For a second, I thought the L was an I. So I was like, is it Alex Bianco? No, it's Alex Blanco. Alex Blanco with the £5 says, you're absolutely nailing the solo show. And don't worry, I'm sure AJ won't mind you telling us how Arcanage is selling. Arcanage sold big, man. Arcanage sells real big. The hope is that, hey, you know what? We need to change the trailer too. I feel like we've been watching this fucking Firmament trailer for way too long. Firmament? Yeah. You know what? For about a week, I was calling Firmament Foundation. And I was like, yeah, that's what it's called. Hey, Foundation, not Firmament. Yeah, Firmament, not Foundation. I think I was thinking Journey to Foundation. Right? But yeah, since Arcanage is selling big, let's get some Arcanage love up here. Boom. There we go. Arcanage $30 right now. Who's buying it? Did anybody not buy it at launch? Usually you guys, you guys are pretty responsive when we tell you guys that a game is incredible. For the most part, usually trust us. But I know that Arcanage, came out kind of on the heels of a lot of other games. I know that when Arcanage came out, a lot of people still hadn't gotten around to Metro or hadn't gotten around to Behemoth. And so they were like, hey, this is in the backlog. How can I possibly buy it right now when I've got other games to buy? And the answer is like, yeah, it's just so good. You need to buy it. And now it's $30 instead of 40. Hold on a second. Natty, what's up? In the chat says, I was struggling with Hitman. I never played it previously, so I was completely lost on what to do, but it started clicking naturally. I like it. Absolutely. And if I hadn't played it before, I think I would be rediscovering that fascination with you. It's just so involved. Man, more sirens on my end. It's so involved. Every single pair of characters you walk by has something important to say, right? And it's to the point where it starts feeling contrived because like one group of people will start talking about like a lawsuit that's going on, and another group of people will start talking about like, oh, the gardener and whatever. But somehow it all has something to do with what's happening. It's like it's almost like NPCs are too important when you start solving the game in different ways. So shit, Arcanage hasn't been discussed for a top 25 list either. Oh man, the top 10 list is fucked. You know what? I think we we all miss Dave, right? Dave was a great co-host and he was a great friend. He was a great guy. And one of the things I loved about Dave, and AJ, of course, AJ's still with us, was that we weren't afraid to like scream at each other and get really fucking angry, right? And like, and that's what made those top debates, top 25 debates great. Was that like we would get like really really passionate and yell about stuff. Like, how could you possibly think this? And this game is so much better than that game and blah, blah, blah. I love the current Parole board. AJ, of course, will always be my right-hand man. And then we got Wes and Miles, but we're all really fucking polite with each other. And so I wonder if this is, if this will be the top 25 debate when we stop being polite and we start getting real. Because I just don't see, there's so many great games fighting for so few spots. At some point, I think it's going to get a little bit aggressive. And I'm sort of excited about that. I'm not going to lie. I think it's going to be great. Ah, man. Anyway, Arcane Age is awesome. If you don't already have it, you should definitely pick it up for $30. I think the other games are on sale too, right? Isn't Metro on sale? Isn't Alien on sale? Yeah, $30. What are you gonna do? If you haven't picked up anything though, save your money. Get Wanderer next week. That's my answer. Get Wanderer next week. Shit. I keep forgetting what starts me off on these tangents, and then I never get back to where I started. But thank you, Alex. Nick Mueller, the Gamecat with the level 3 membership. What's up, Nick? Says, apparently My Name is Mayo is getting a remake. That can't be real. Is that real? Should we beg them for a VR port? If you guys don't know, My Name is Mayo, there's like 3 of them at least that are all, I mean, they tell a story, but they're really just games for you to get cheap platinums. You pay like $1 or $2 or $3, whatever the games are, and within about a half an hour of tapping on the screen. I played this on Vita, that's why I tapped on the screen. But I think you just do it with the DualSense. You end up with a cheap platinum trophy. I'd take a VR port. Probably wear out the adaptive triggers on my Sense controllers with something like that, though. I don't know. Prozac says, I still want Katamari Damacy VR. How would that work? Are we the ball? We can't be the ball, right? Because the ball collects things and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So if we were inside the ball, that wouldn't work. It could just be third person, right? I think that's the only way it would work is third person. Katamari's a good shot, though. Man. I don't know. Is anybody buying a Switch 2? I've been, I think, unhealthily obsessed with Switch games recently. And I think it's because Switch 2 is coming out. Because Switch 2 there's a new Nintendo Direct. We just had an awesome Direct last week where they announced Gradius Origins. And I'm stupidly excited for Gradius Origins. Gradius is, I think, one of the best shoot 'em ups ever made. Love how that system works. It's so good. But for whatever reason, I've been obsessed with Switch games lately. I've been playing a lot of Switch games, and I think it's because Switch 2 is coming out, and like we know it's going to be backwards compatible. So I'm like super. I'm gonna be paying close attention to the Nintendo Direct this week. I really want to know how much that thing's going to cost. I think the Switch obviously sold really fucking good, right? Because of its functionality, right? It was like this like new kind of cool gimmicky thing you could do, like portable, not portable, whatever you want to do. But here, yeah, I actually do have a trailer for this. This is crazy. But like because it's gonna be backwards compatible, I was like, like just kind of I think it's really cool to be able to bring all of your old games onto a new system. It's like, oh, I've already got a built-in library, which I think it does relate to PSVR somehow, because I think that's what a lot of people were disappointed with at the launch of PSVR2. Like they built up this incredible VR library of PSVR1 games, and then no way to play them, not without having two headsets set up at all times. And there's so many wires involved with the first one that I totally get it. Indie Soul says, do a without Parole Nintendo stream. Dude, I would love to. I I've told you guys before, I would love to branch out. I'd love to cover other things than just PSVR2. Obviously, I would leave this channel as PSVR2 exclusive, but I've got a retro channel that I don't really do anything with, and I've also I'd like to start a channel where it's just like a little bit more of everything. That's a lot, right? PSVR2 without Parole already takes everything, like all of my energy for the week, and so I can't imagine trying to do more than that. But I would love to be able to, jump around to different channels when things like this come up and be like, hey, how many people are interested in hanging out, with me and Miles or whoever while we watch the Nintendo stream? It would be interesting. Sorry, can't find what I'm looking for. Grandpa's Barbecue or Gamecat with the Australian $5 tip says, I think we should all I think Sony should require all remasters/remakes to require VR. I know it's not practical because developers just wouldn't do remakes or remasters anymore. Oh, like they wouldn't do them. They wouldn't do them because of the VR implementation. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is a lot of work. It's not the easiest thing. I don't know if you guys remember, it wasn't that long ago. It was only like a few weeks back. I was talking on a GameScast about how I think it's on Sony, right? If developers aren't going to really make a whole lot of money on adding VR support to their games, then it's kind of on Sony to make it easy on developers. Be like, hey, here's your UE VR Switch on the PlayStation 5 dev kit, or here's your Unity VR Switch. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like because it's on the PlayStation platform, I felt like it was on Sony to sort of make it really easy for developers to be able to do that. Because developers currently don't have a huge incentive to do it. When a developer says, "Hey, we're not going to put VR support on the PlayStation 5 version," it's almost like we kind of understand, right? Like we're not happy about it, but we do understand because it's expensive, it's time consuming, it takes a long time to get it right, and then what are they going to do? Get another 20,000 units sold, right? Are they even going to break even on that? So I figured it was like in my head it was on Sony. Let's get Sony to do it. Let's get Sony to make these like kind of like middleware tools easier, more accessible. All they have to do is flip a switch, and then there's a couple things that they have to sort of take care of. And shockingly, I'm so happy that I'm friends with so many developers because I learned that Sony's already kind of given them the tools to do that. Like it really is easy to flip a switch, according to a developer I spoke to. It really is easy to flip a switch and make a game VR on PlayStation 5. And of course it is going to require, some more work on the developer's part. But they made it pretty easy for developers to make hybrid games, which is sort of a shocking thing to hear, right? So first, shocked that I was like kind of on the right path. Saying that this is something that I think Sony needs to do. And it's like, oh, well, Sony already fucking did this. Well, then the next question is, well, then why aren't more games in VR? And the answer was, well, because most developers just don't think it's worth it. Most developers don't think it's worth the time and the effort, and they don't think they're going to sell many copies to the VR crowd or enough to make it worth their time. So it really is on developers more than anything else. They've got the tools at their disposal. It's not an insane amount of work. They just need a small team to kind of make it all work, make it all happen. I found that to be shocking. So what we need to do is start getting on these developers more. I forget what the game is that Wired Productions has been promoting recently. Like, is it Karma? Is that what it is? And they were like, yeah, we'd love to do a VR version. And so then like everybody, all of the cats came out and they were like, yes, PSVR2, you got to make it PSVR2, PSVR2, PSVR2. Oh, so let's make it PSVR. And it was like incredible to see. But these are people who like understand, you know what I mean? These are people who like understand. It's like, hey, we could make it in VR. And if we're going to sell 20,000 more copies, it might be worth it. So don't ever hesitate to tell developers, hey, I'd love to play your game, but I'm only going to play it in VR. That's the lesson. And that's not a lesson that I even understood until like 2 weeks ago. So, very cool. Where are we at? Oh, Grandpa's Barbecue. I was like, what led to that fucking random tirade? And it was Grandpa's Barbecuer Gamecat tip. I don't think I wouldn't want Sony to force people to put VR modes in their games. I don't want any creative person to be forced to make anything that they don't want to do. However, I would love if Sony incentivized them even more. Right? Said, hey, listen, this isn't going to take a lot of work. This isn't going to take a lot of energy. It's not going to take a lot of money. And we have a team that can come over and hang out and show you guys like exactly what you need to do. Right? Or maybe Sony just needs to throw a little bit of money at developers. They've got to be doing it with Capcom and Resident Evil. Otherwise, why the hell did we get Resident Evil 7 for free? Or the VR upgrade for free? Same with Village. Same with RE4 Remake. Capcom is not doing it out of the goodness of their heart, and we're seeing the numbers. They're not selling amazingly well, or the VR versions aren't being played by that many people to make it worth their while. There's a reason why Capcom is doing it. It's obviously some contractual agreement they've got with Sony. So Sony needs to start making more contractual agreements with other developers, right? They need to start making. Need to start doing this with whoever is making a flat screen game. Be like, hey, here's an extra $100,000. Go make sure this gets VR mode. Right? Think of how many games could get VR support with that business model, in you know, rather than one game of Concord getting made. So, these are all options. And but again, as I mentioned on I think Friday's GamesCast, you'd be surprised how frequently Sony is funding some of these VR games. Sorry, more sirens on my end. They're funding so many more VR games than you would expect. Okay? Usually when it's a PSVR 2 or PSVR 1 exclusive, you go, well, that's obviously being funded by Sony. There's a reason why it's exclusive. It's because it's being funded by Sony. And usually if you follow the breadcrumbs, you follow the money, you end up being right. But then there's games that just don't make any sense. Like, why the fuck was this funded by Sony? Or like, why was there Sony money involved in this? Because it's cross-platform. It came to Steam. It came to Quest. It came to PlayStation VR2. Right? Sony should be bragging a little bit more about that. It would quiet the number of people who say that they don't care about VR, because they are supporting VR in all sorts of ways. We just want to see them supporting VR in the hybrid sense. Right? I think the hybrid sense is what so many people are looking for. Here, I'm going to end the poll. Let's I completely forgot we were running a poll, but there it is in my face. So almost 200 people voted. And what do you prefer? 19% of you said just hands. 39% said hands and arms or forearms. And then 42% of you said full body. So strangely, full body is the minority. I know it's a weird thing to say, because just hands or just hands and forearms constitutes 58% of the vote, 60% of the vote. But it's all pretty equal. And what was the game? There was a game not that long ago that gave us the options. It gave us options for like just hands or just hands and forearms. And then I think there might have even been a full body IK. Somebody in the chat has to have a better memory than me and remember this. But I wonder how difficult that is. Indie Soul wants me to strip. You got to sign up for the OnlyFans, bud. I'm sorry. YouTube would shut me down in a heartbeat. One of you motherfuckers would tattle. And we can't have that. Okay? Can't have that. Grandpa's Barbecue or Gamecat with the Australian $2 tip says, AJ, shut the hell up. Bryan can't get a word in. Hold on, let's check in on AJ. Yeah, he's doing okay. It's good stuff. All right. Mostly Gaming says Into the Radius. I didn't even see what that's in a response to, but you just reminded me how much I love Into the Radius and how difficult that'll be to find a spot for in the top 10 list. it's going to be insane. Top 25 lists are useless. I think we've got officially only 2+ years into the PSVR2 lifespan. I think we've already gotten to the point where top 25 lists are useless. I can't believe I still have Nintendo Switch 2 trailer running. I feel like we kind of need to do top 50 lists from here on out, only because they just can't cover enough ground. We can't cover enough ground with a top 25 list because there's so many special games. Dude, like Ancient Dungeon. To me, Ancient Dungeon is a top 10 game. Right? But then what AAA game gets kicked off the fucking list? Or at least like what top tier single A game or indie, whatever you want to call these things. It's impossible. It's impossible. Most of the game says, please review Hitman VR. Maybe one day. We'll see. That's a lot of time. I'm focused on Wonder right now. Wonder is my priority because here's the real answer. Hitman's going to sell just fine. Hitman is a well-known IP. It does not need any assistance from Without Parole. It's going to be fine. But Wanderer, like I said before, I don't think there's no way Wanderer sold amazingly well. I just don't see a world where Wanderer sells amazingly well, especially when the first time it came out, it was up against our very first MMO, Zenith, The Last City, which was incredible. If anyone didn't play Zenith on PSVR 1, you're out of your goddamn mind. I don't know what you were doing with your life. But it was mind blowing. We not only did we get our first MMO, but it was an MMO that worked really, really well. It's beautiful, and you could fly. I don't know. Have you ever seen this trailer? Anything other than this? There. So so sometimes I got to use Without Parole in the way that I think it needs to be used, and I think that I think when a team like Mighty Eyes is creating a game like Wanderer, that's so special, I would have called it a once-in-a-lifetime game. I would have even called it a once-in-a-generation game. It's definitely not once in a lifetime anymore because now it's twice in a lifetime. But these guys are also making Wanderer 2, Pirates Unite, or whatever the fuck it's called. And I personally desperately want to see Mighty Eyes succeed. I desperately want to see Mighty Eyes. I want their game to sell like crazy because it deserves it. Because it's bordering on AAA quality. It's not a term that I like to use when we talk about games like Behemoth, when we talk about games like Alien Rogue Incursion, when we talk about games like Metro. Those are indie games. They're really fucking good indie games. But they're indie games. When it comes to the scope, when it comes to the length of the game, when it comes to to what you're seeing in the world and what's happening. Wanderer feels like a AAA game, and it feels like a game that if we don't support these guys, we're just not going to see any more of. Like, I'm going to be really fucking passionate about Wanderer over the next couple of weeks. And so that's where my priority is going to lie. Hitman's great. Hitman will sell. But Hitman already sold. IO's doing just fine. You know what I mean? And I hope they continue to. I hope IO continues to bring their games to PSVR 2, because they do good work. But Wanderer is special, like beyond Hitman special. That's all. Where are we? Did I not heart this comment? No, I'm gonna heart the comment. Okay. All right. I don't think we've talked about anything I meant to talk about today yet. That's fine. Here, I got some footage of me playing Ancient Dungeon with a few of the cats. We got it was playing with Rhodey the Gamecat Army General, Nick Mulo, and Izzard, and me. And that makes 4, which means it was the very first time I've done. Here we go. Here's some Ancient Dungeon footage. Here, can we go back here? We can. This is the first time I've done 4-player co-op in Ancient Dungeon, I mean, the multiplayer update hasn't been out that long, so like it's not that surprising. I done 3-player co-op a couple times, 2-player co-op a few times with Rhodey, and it's been great. But man, like having a full crew, getting in there, 4 people, all working together to clear out a dungeon. It's funny how frequently like other people are just doing all the work for you, and you're standing there going, "Cool." You know, like okay, you guys are just. Because they do change some stuff, right? Then I don't know if it's the number of enemies or the difficulty or whatever, but it's certainly not 4 times more difficult. It's not 4 times the number of enemies or 4 times the amount of HP for each character. So you get in there and it definitely is easier, especially with a crew that knows what they're doing. And of all people who know what they're doing, Rhodey, the Gamecat Army General, just hundreds of hours in this game, hundreds of hours. So he knows what's up. And then I think Nick has platinumed it. So like it was a good crew. It was a really good crew. It was hard to complain. I had people that I really trusted in there. Man, we had so much fun. I had so much fun. I want to get a couple things out of the way though. There's still issues. There's somehow still issues with Ancient Dungeon. Rhodey reports that the single player stuff is almost flawless. So that's good. Right, because when they added a bunch of stuff, added the new floors, added the multiplayer, somehow that affected the single player. And like the single player, there were still issues with the single player. But this time going through and multiplayer, still problems. I think we were okay on our first run, but when you're playing Ancient Dungeon, once you beat the final boss, it gives you the option to go down the pit again and do New Game Plus, and you can do New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus and whatever, right? And the more times you roll the dice and risk it and really decide to, go back, you can lose everything. You can lose all your progress. If you die on New Game Plus, it's not like you get credit for completing New Game. For playing through the original game. You have to kill the boss and then decide to go back to the base in order to get credit for all the run throughs that you've done, right? And so it really is a risk reward type thing. The problem is that the game tends to get really unstable on New Game Plus and more unstable on New Game Plus Plus. And so that's when you start running into issues. You start running into problems where it's you've decided to roll the dice, you decide to go through again and get more XP and more insight and more beast blood in order to upgrade stuff and buy more things. But it's on New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus where the game starts being more and more unstable. The frame rate starts stuttering. It gets laggy. Things start appearing for one person that aren't appearing for other people. It's an issue. Somehow, I still played for 4 hours straight on, was it Saturday? Is that when we played, Nick? And Nick confirms. He says, Ken confirms single player works great. That's really good to hear. But yeah, I played for 4 hours. More sirens on my end. And they're competing for attention. I played for 4 hours and had a blast, but only really completed one run. Only once, I think, because there was, I think at the end of the run that I'm showing here, it wasn't even the end of the run. We were in the middle of a run, and Nick's avatar started doing weird things, right? Like his hand was like sliding down, and then boom, right? But then he was seeing us do weird things, and after, I don't know what it was. After maybe 10 seconds of that, we got the black screen that said there was like a connection issue, or even though we were all talking to each other through party chat, which by the way, in-game voice chat still sucks. It gets really staticky really fast. So there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. So what happened is we ended up only we only ended up finishing one run, which was we played through the game and then we did New Game Plus and then we called it quits because things were getting really shaky. So I don't know, man. Like I'm in love with this game. It is still one of my favorite games maybe of all time, and definitely one of my favorite games in VR at all times of all time. But dear Eric Thullen, dear Maze Theory, please fix the PSVR2 version as soon as possible because I want to spend a lot more time in this game. And currently it's You know what I mean? Like, not like it's. I shouldn't even say right, because it's because it's good enough for me to go through multiple crashes and still want to play more, right? So it's awesome, but it's hard to recommend to other people at this point. Unbelievably fun game though. So, not me really says, not gonna lie, I really like this solo format. Bryan's so chill and chatty. I do talk a lot. Feel bad for significant others. It's not good. All right. There's a couple of videos I want to take a look at, you guys. Here, let's check in with AJ. How's he doing? He's still really high. He's still so high. AJ. Someone should poke him. Nave says, I once went to a Ben Folds 5 show where the drummer and bass player couldn't play due to a stomach bug. Ben Folds did the whole show solo, and it was brilliant. This stream reminds me of that gig. Wow, that was not unexpected. Thank you so much. That's a great compliment. More than happy to do this on occasion when necessary. It's been a lot of fun. Like, just the stream of consciousness stuff and being able to just spend more time focused on the chat. There was somebody in the chat on Monday was really drunk, right? They admitted before the stream even began that they were drinking copious amounts of vodka, and by the end of the show, I had to block them because they were just being a complete and total asshole. But they were like, see, he's not even paying attention to the chat. He's not paying attention to the chat. And I think what most people don't realize is that it's hard to pay attention to the chat, because not only do I need to give attention to the people who are tipping and paying to have their comment read, but I'm also hosting a show and running it, and also trying to keep up with the conversation and change the trailers and change the scenes from this to this to this. You know what I mean? And so, yes, he was drunk, but he also wasn't wrong, right? It is hard. He felt like he was neglected and didn't get to maybe I wasn't reading his comments, and I hate that, right? I love this format. I love you guys being right here in front of me and like being the attention. You're getting like all of my attention right now, and that's what I love. Sorry, AJ. This is how Mondays are going to go from now on. Can't do it. Okay, yeah, let's watch a couple videos. We got, what do we have? First, let's get to the headline, which I, at this point, feel like is going to be a 5-minute conversation, but that's how all Gamescasts are. Undead Citadel. So let's see here. Undead Citadel. This is the new PSVR2 specific Undead Citadel clip. Wait a minute, can I go full screen? Do I not have this? I bet I don't have this. I don't have this set up for full screen, do I? We haven't gone full screen. We've only gone from here to here. That's all I got. What happens when I go here? Oh, that's what happens. Hold on. Can I do this? Hey, there I am. Look at this. Look at me learning how to do shit. All right, here. I'll sneak myself over here. Here we go. So this is the Undead Citadel footage that developer Undead Citadel footage that developer Dark Curry posted on Twitter. And I think that's the reason it looks so terrible, right? I mean, the gameplay mechanics don't look terrible. The game looks pretty good, but the actual quality of the video itself, it was super pixelated, very artifacty. And I had to download it off of Twitter. Shocking that they're like, hey, check out the PSVR2 version. We're going to put it up on Twitter and not put an HD version up on our own YouTube channel. I was really shocked by that, because one of the biggest benefits of the PSVR2 version is that it's going to look fucking incredible, right? Like probably real-time shadows and dynamic lighting and whatever else. And with any luck, it's running at 90 native. We have no idea. Hold on a second. Wait, is AJ streaming No Man's Sky right now? Is he really? That's amazing. If he's really streaming No Man's Sky, that's incredible. Steve Irie says, at this point, I couldn't give two flying fucks about this game now. I think that's fair, right? If we look back to when Undead Citadel was originally announced, Not announced for PSVR. Maybe the PlayStation VR logo was at the end of it all. But it was 2018, December 2018. So what is that? 6.5 years ago? It's a while ago. But it's not like the game was out on Steam or on Quest at that point. Quest didn't even exist, I don't think, at that point. But at a certain point, they did announce a PSVR 1 version, and they showed it running with, they showed somebody in the PSVR 1 headset with the Move controllers, and they showed it actually being played on PSVR 1. It's like, oh, hey, the port's coming along really well, you guys. And we thought it was, getting close to being ready. And then they just went radio silent. And then next thing we heard, this is going to be a PSVR2 launch title. And how long ago was the launch of PSVR2? It was 2 fucking years ago. It was a long time ago. Oh, Scott says AJ is not streaming. That was a good joke, though. That was good. I like it. Nell Zero says, not gonna lie, I have zero hype for this game. Some delays for polish are great, but I worry after a certain length of time we're just not in Duke. Oh, I worry after a certain length of time we're at least not. Why can't I read? We're at least not in Duke Nukem Forever area yet. This is a hard one. I think this is a hard one because VR's come a long way in the last few years, more sirens. But it hasn't come like an exceptional way, right? Like we've only gone through over here in PSVR land, we've only gone through like one generation of headsets. Quest has only gone through really 3 generations of headsets in a much shorter length of time. In games, I don't think have evolved all that much. Right? Maybe there are going to be examples, of course, that really show like, oh, hey, like look what you can do in VR now that you couldn't do before. But a majority of the games, which I think is a detriment to VR, and I think a lot of people will tell you that this is the reason they dropped out of VR, was because things weren't evolving fast enough. Right. And so I think when Undead Citadel comes out, as long as it looks really good and plays really good, right? What I played on PC, the haptics were, the physics were great. But I was just playing a horde mode, right? So I get to like try out, some different weapons, and I got to see what it was like to hit these enemies in different places and see how they reacted. And they reacted really well. It was a little on the sluggish side. I don't know how much that's evolved or changed over the last couple years. It's probably been 2 years, I think, since I checked this out on Steam. So here's what I'll say. I don't need Undead Citadel to be great. I need Undead Citadel to be a 7 out of 10. I need it to play about as good as a Golden Axe in VR, right? Because what I've wanted all these years was for Swordsman, the team at Sin Studio, to take what they had made with Swordsman, the arena-based, wave-based combat that they'd created, and give us a full-fledged adventure. I would have been fine if they had done that as DLC, as paid DLC, as a free upgrade, whatever they wanted to do. They could have made Swordsman 2 and had that be what the game was, right? The Swordsman adventure. Natty, what's up, says Bryan, just move on. We don't care. We'll get hyped when they actually release it. And it's good, yeah. Yeah, I mean, but I don't think it's going to be amazing, right? I think it is going to be the Swordsman adventure that I'm hoping for, or that I've been hoping for, right? You get potions here and there for your health. We're not talking about massive reasons to explore. We're just talking about a lot of combat, moving from the beginning of the level to the end of the level, and hopefully having some really great physics-based combat. Has anybody played through this? Yeah, thank you, Null Zero. You're fucking reading my mind. Has anyone played through this on Quest or Steam? Because I need to know. Does this have bosses? I think this has boss fights, and that's gonna make it or break it for me. Because that's for this to be appropriately Golden Axe in VR, it needs to have great boss fights. Looper says it's a good adventure, Bryan, but does it have bosses? I don't know. Just a PSVR2 enthusiast says, I'm worried that this won't get the Wanderer treatment even after all these years. It'll still be the exact same game. It was in the trailer so long ago. Looper says, the final boss is epic, one of my favorites in VR. And he's saying final boss, so I'm assuming that there's multiple bosses. Yeah. So let's hope it's at least a 7. Just a fun little physics-based brawler in VR. And some of the really early footage that I saw of this game made it look like it was going to be like creepy, you know, like you were walking through this abandoned village, and you like just didn't know what was going on, and all of a sudden you're being attacked by like skeletons running out of the darkness. Very curious to know how if that tension has remained in the final game. We'll see. Jason O'Hare says, what's up with AJ? He's high. He'll be okay. I fucking love it. It's so good. Man. All right. That's enough of that. That's enough of that. I want to take a quick look at the new trailer for Get Out, A Very Bad Dream Story. If you guys have played Very Bad Dreams, you know it's by the same team who made Darkness Roller Coaster. It's a small team of 2 people who are gradually just getting better with every release, thankfully. Very Bad Dreams was good. I think if I was going to rate it, it'd be like a 6 out of 10, something like that. Let's see. Do we not have a trailer for Get Out? What happened? Get Out. We had a trailer. Here it is. Oh, this is the pre-order trailer. Holy crap, right? So that means it's up for pre-order on the PlayStation Store. I should probably take a look at that. I'm going over to it right now. Let's see. Get Out. The other day I tried to search for stuff on the PlayStation Store, and shocker, the search function was broken. Holy crap. Get Out is $10. 15% off if you have PlayStation Plus. They're saying, immerse yourself in the frightening atmosphere of Get Out, a psychological horror game where the line between reality and madness blurs. You play as Dean, a patient trapped in a sinister prison-like mental asylum. The walls of this place, steeped in despair, hide unspeakable secrets and terrifying experiments carried out on lost souls. In this asylum, nightmarish creatures born from inhuman experiments, starting to sound AI-generated, prowl the dark corridors. With your hands restrained by a straitjacket, you must navigate through complex puzzles and deadly challenges. Each solved puzzle brings you closer to the truth about the horrors that lie behind the facility's locked doors. Supports B haptics. This is interesting. When they make such a big point to say that your character is tied in a straitjacket, is this just gonna use the DualSense? Hold on a second. Let me look. It says PSVR Sense controller vibration optional, trigger effect optional, Sense controllers required. Okay. I figured if it was if your hands were, if you were tied in a straitjacket, you probably just use the DualSense to run around. But who knows? Maybe there'll be more to that aspect than meets the eye. Ace Gamercat says definitely need full body on this one. Yeah, it makes sense. You look down, you see everything tied. That makes sense. $10. I don't know. I don't know. I want to see these guys succeed. Right? And if you like the B horror genre, if you like kind of like the low budget stuff, these guys are kind of nailing that in video game form. I thought Very Bad Dreams was, again, like 6.5 out of 10, something like that. It's just because it was like janky and a little bit weird, but like they were constantly introducing new ideas. Like it never got boring, it never got stale, it never got old. So I really enjoyed it for what it was. And it was such a massive step forward for them from Darkness Roller Coaster, and I'm wondering if this will be like another massive step forward for them. Take what they learned from their last game and apply it to this game. Very, very curious. Ian Stanbridge says that being tied up in a straitjacket is just an average Thursday for him. Nice. Looper says Grimlord is going to give you a fix in terms of boss fight quantity. Nice. Hold on a second. We're going back to Undead Citadel for a second. Looper says the ones before the final boss are more like End Dream style. You think it's a boss, and then you encounter dozens of them. Okay, that's totally fine. That's totally fine as long as there's a final boss, right? Oh my god, when Synapse didn't have a final boss, that was such a letdown. It's like, why is my final memory of Synapse gonna be like a bunch of stairs? I don't know. Just didn't do it for me. But luckily the rest of Synapse was amazing. That helps. Is that it? Holy crap, did we cover everything? That's amazing. In only 90 minutes. Not too shabby. Can you imagine if AJ was here? And then we'd have twice as many things. This would have been a 3-hour show. Cat GPT, the AI gamepad, says, now my Monday truly sucks, just a little bit less. Nice. Cool. All right, you guys. Well, I can't figure out a great way to play the 4-minute challenge, so I think we're going to have to forego that. But thank you guys for hanging out. This was really fucking awesome. And I'm really, really happy to be back up and running, like full speed. My brain works again. The fog is over. Depression is like lift. Like fucking things are good, you guys. Things are good. And I want to say, thank you guys for so patient and so empathetic. Everybody was just like, dude, you got this, and take as much time as you need. And I'm just so happy that it didn't take months, right? Didn't take too long. And I'm happy to be back up and running at full speed. You guys are fucking awesome. Hold on. Null Zero says, you come up with the game, we ask questions. Alex Blanco says, Bryan, just pick a game. We'll guess. Huh. All right. You guys are my co-hosts today. I guess we're going to do this. Just give me 1 second here. I gotta find a game real quick. This is going to be good. Do I give you 4 minutes? Yeah, because you got like 100 people asking questions. So I'm still going to give you 4 minutes. We'll see how it works. I don't know if this is going to be a good idea, but we'll see how it goes. The easy mode, hard mode. What should I do? Oh my God, I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. So many different ways to go about this. All right. I picked a game. No, that's too easy. I can't go easy on you. There's too many people. There's too many people to go easy on you. So here, let me try this again. I got this. I promise. I got this. Oh, I could go really fucking deep on you guys. Oh, this could be crazy. Crazy. Hold on. I don't want to like hurt anybody in the process. You know what I mean? Like, I want you guys all to come out on the other side A-okay. All right. I got it. I've chosen a game. This is going to be fun. Okay, guys, you know how this works. I picked a game pretty at random. And you guys got to figure out what game I'm thinking of. It could be PSVR1, it could be PSVR2, but you only got 4 minutes. So now it's up to you guys to ask questions and then deliver answers based on, deliver game suggestions based on the answers I give. It's really hard to say that with you guys being the contestant. So good luck. Good luck. If you guess wrong, I think you have to shut up. I think that's the rule, right? Because if it was me and AJ playing, if he guessed wrong, it'd be game over, right? So if you guess wrong, like no more guesses, you're not allowed to guess anymore. I think that's how it works. But ask as many questions as you want. 4 minutes. Here we go. On your mark. This is going to be horrible. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Get Des. Go. Heisen Gaming says, is it on PSVR2? No, it's not. Silver Nexus says, does it have telekinesis? No, it does not. Indie Soul, yes, it's PSVR1. I'm reading. Mischievous Markio says it's single player. Yes, single player. He also asked full locomotion. No, not full locomotion. Looper says, does it have stealth elements? Not to the best of my recollection. I don't think so. Ooh, Flamehat asks if it has a platinum trophy. I don't remember. It's been a while. Null Zero, I don't think it is on PSVR 1. I don't think it was an exclusive. Don't remember it being on Quest. Going to check real fast to see if it's on. It is on Steam. Ha. So there we go. Moving right along. Omen Boy says, do you fly in this game? No, you don't. Scott asks if it's coming to PSVR 2. Not to my knowledge. It's not been announced. Salvador says, do you shoot guns? I don't believe so. Mad Vegan says, does it have a cat in the game? I don't remember there being a cat. Cat GPT says, are you a hitman? Nope. Corey says, is it horror? No, it's not horror. Ben Ellis says, have you talked to the developers directly? I don't think so. Ace Gamer Cat, is it multiplayer? No. Mischievous Markio says, did we talk about it today? No. Let's see. Ben L, does it have shooting mechanics? I don't believe there's any shooting mechanics. There might be like a scene or something, but I don't remember it. Mischievous Markio says, is it DualShock? Hold on. It's been a while. Yes, DualShock, as in not move support. Hold on, I get back here. Man, this is tough. A lot to do while I'm doing this. Omen Boy, no, it does not use move controllers. Looper says, is it cozy? I don't think it's cozy. You could consider it that. Jay, the Phobiated Render and Gamecat says, is it a puzzle game? Yes, it is a puzzle game. Not me, really. Are you a god? No, I might be, but you're not in the game. You do not drive vehicles, Bat, in the Gamecat, to my knowledge. If you do, it's not a major gameplay mechanic. Scott says, do you kill things? No. Looper says, is it static? Like, is it the game static? No, it's not static. You're out. Bitmappy says, is it realistic? No. I would say very cartoony. Ace Gamer Cat says no multiplayer. Yes, Corey, it is cartoony graphics. AVCII says, is it a puzzle? Yes, it's a puzzle game. Big time puzzle game. Ben L says, are you stuck in a chair? No, you're not stuck in a chair. The Looper says, does it represent DualShock 4 in inventive ways? No, I would say that I'm going to give you a big hint since there's only a minute left. It dealt with teleportation rather than full locomotion in inventive ways. Alex says, could you buy extra content? No DLC. Nothing to buy. Gamecat Behemoth says the Groundhog game. No, you're out. Heisen Gaming says, any bubbles? I mean, yeah, there's bubbles in the game. I believe so. Bitmappy, Groundhog Day. No, you're out. Is it like voxel graphics cartoony? No, it's not It's not voxel. It's cartoony DTB. Bunch of different puzzles. Yes. Does it use light puzzles? Says Scott. Not primarily. There might be one, but no, definitely not. Looper says, is it in a series? Part of a series? Yes, it is part of a series. That's big. Alex Blanco, no, it's not a top 10 candidate. Looper says, is it a Psychonauts game? Yes, it is. Yeah, you want to? Listen. We know that Looper got it. It is indeed at the buzzer. Psychonauts in the rhombus of ruin. Bah! Good job. That was intense. That was really intense. That might have been more fun than playing with another person sitting next to me. That was really good. Good job, everybody. Y'all worked together. That was good. Whew. If anybody didn't play Psychonauts Rhombus of Ruin, holy crap. Like, unappreciated game in the Psychonauts series. Psychonauts, I only played the first one, to be honest with you, on PlayStation 2. But to answer the question from earlier in the show, that would be another great game to have in VR. Even if it was just third-person VR, Psychonauts would be amazing. It'd be extra trippy in the headset. it was a VR exclusive spin-off where you there was no locomotion. You would literally use telekinesis, no, telepathy, nope, telemetry. That can't be right. Whatever, and you like switch perspectives. You jump from one person's perspective to another. So you'd be sitting in a room with like 4 people, and that's how you would get different camera viewpoints, by jumping into different people's bodies. And it was sort of like the evolution of like a point and click adventure. It's really good. It was really good. Really, really underrated. Oh no, Looper says Psychonauts definitely has telekinesis. That's so funny. I AJ'd the fuck out of this. I apologize. Yes, it does. I was thinking in my head, I was like, oh no, it's not Synapse. No telekinesis. But that's like half of the game. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But you still got it despite my fuck up. So good job. Extra good job, everybody. Old Geezer Gamecat with the $2 Canadian said, Get Out trailer out today. Yeah, we just watched it. You missed it. I think it does look great, especially for like a $10 game or an $8.50 game. Good call. Grandpa's Barbecue Gamecat with the Australian $5 tip says, Bryan, great job with the solo podcast. Has been a nice, relaxing change. You should do this again whenever, not if, your co-hosts are too high. Somebody shake AJ. I'm concerned that he's way too high. Somebody shake him like a baby. Yeah. All right. Cool. This is it. We time to get out of here. Thank you everybody for hanging out. This was awesome. I had a good time. Definitely shook off the nerves in the first 20 or 30 minutes, and just kind of got comfortable hanging out with you guys. You're the best. You really are. So shout out to everybody who supports the channel financially over on patreon.com/withoutparolegames, or by being a member over here, or by contributing to the GoFundMe, which is, I don't even know. Do I still have that link handy? I have no idea. Nope, that's not it. I don't have it handy. Hopefully one of the mods do. We really appreciate you guys helping out the channel, but you know what? Money's always secondary. We're just happy that you're here. And so if you like being part of this community, if you like hanging out and shooting the shit and talking about PSVR2 games, like we all did for the last hour and 43 minutes, then come join our Discord. Click the link in the description below. Join us over there. That's where these conversations happen 24/7. And that's where you can vote as to what's better, TP or bidets. Shit's important, man. We got to know the answer. So shout out to everybody, man. You guys are all amazing. And a special shout out to all the people who sit back and watch the show and don't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there because I used to be one of you. If you can believe it, I used to not talk. I used to choose to watch. We love you just as much. Good night, everybody.